Intermediate Algebra for Statistics, Graphing Quadratic Functions in Standard Form, Part 2. Lesson objective: graph a quadratic function in standard form by using the vertex formula. Lesson objective: axis of symmetry. Formula: the axis of symmetry of a parabola is the vertical line that divides the parabola into two congruent halves. The formula for the axis for a quadratic equation in standard form, f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c, is given by the formula x equals negative b divided by 2a. Here's a visual. Every parabola is symmetric to this axis of symmetry. So this is a vertical line with this formula, and the vertex is always on this line of symmetry. Method 2. Graphing by using the vertex formula to find the vertex. Process: to find the vertex of a graph of a quadratic function f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Number 1. Find the x-coordinate of the vertex by using the vertex formula, x equals negative b divided by 2a. Number 2. Find the y-coordinate of the vertex by evaluating f at the value found in step 1. So once we compute the value of x, we substitute that back in to the original function to get the value of y. So in symbols, this means find f of negative b divided by 2a. Let's do an example. Example 5. Find the vertex of the graph f of x equals x squared minus 4x plus 7. Solution: we see that a is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 4, and c is 7. To find the x-coordinate of the vertex, we substitute a and b into the formula. So we have x equals negative b divided by 2a. This will give us a negative negative 4 divided by 2 times 1. So positive 4 divided by 2 is 2. So the x-coordinate is 2. To get the y-coordinate, we find f of 2. So we go back to the original function and we substitute a 2 for x and evaluate. So f of 2 is 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 7, which gives us an output of 3. So the vertex is the point 2, 3. Example 6. Sketch the graph of f of x equals 2x squared plus 10x plus 7. We could graph this using a graphing calculator, but we're going to sketch it by hand. So our first step is identify a, b, and c. A is 2, b is 10, and c is 7. For the vertex, x equals negative 10 divided by 2 times 2, which gives us a negative 2.5. To find the y-coordinate, we substitute negative 2.5 back into the original equation. Follow the order of operation. We square, multiply, and then add, and we get an output of negative 5.5. So the vertex is negative 2.5 comma negative 5.5. Now to sketch the graph, we need to pick a couple of points to the left of the vertex and to the right of the vertex. So the numbers I'm going to use to the left of negative 2.5 would be negative 3 and negative 4, and 2 points to the right of negative 2.5, I'm going to use negative 2 and negative 1. So let's find those outputs. So for f of negative 2, we end up with an output of negative 5. So when x is negative 2, y is negative 5. For the next point, f of negative 3 becomes negative 5 also. So we have a point that's to the left of the vertex and to the right. To find another point to the right of the vertex, I'm going to use negative 1. So we take 2 times negative 1 squared plus 10 times negative 1 plus 7. We square, then we multiply and add, and f of negative 1 becomes negative 1. To get a point to the left of the vertex, I'm going to use negative 4. So negative 4 squared is 16. 16 times 2 is 32, plus negative 40 plus 7 gives us a value of negative 1. So we have 4 points, and then we have the vertex. We can sketch our parabola. So when x is negative 4, y is negative 1. When x is negative 3, y is negative 5. When x is negative 2, y is negative 5. When x is negative 1, y is negative 1. So we plot our points. Here's the vertex. Here's a point to the left of the vertex. Here's a point to the right. Here's another point to the left of the vertex, and here's the point to the right. And we see our parabola. We can use the graphing calculator to verify the vertex, and we put the equation in y1, and then we hit second trace and select minimum, and the calculator is very close to negative 2.5. Example 7. Sketch the graph of f of x equals negative 2.2x squared plus 6.1x plus 1.4. Solution: A is negative 2.2, B is 6.1, and C is 1.4. First we find the vertex, so we take negative b divided by 2a, which gives us a positive 1.39 rounded off to 2 decimal places. Now we take that 1.39 and substitute it back into the original function to get the y, and we get 5.63 approximately. So the vertex is 1.39 comma 5.63. Next we want to pick a few points to the left of the vertex and a few points to the right of the vertex. So when x is 0 we have 1.4, when x is 1 we have 5.3, x is 2 we have 4.8, when x is 3 we have a negative 0.1. Sketching these points on graph paper, we see our sketch of the parabola. Let's do our last example. Example 8. For h of x equals negative x squared minus 2x plus 8, find the following. Number 1, what is the line of symmetry? Number 2, find the vertex. Number 3, find the y-intercept. Number 4, find the x-intercepts. And finally, number 5, sketch the graph of this function. So number 1, what is the line of symmetry, or what is the axis of symmetry? Again, we use our formula x equals negative b over 2a. A in this case is negative 1, b is a negative 2, and c is 8. Substituting a and b into our formula, we have a negative negative 2 divided by 2 times negative 1. This becomes negative negative 2 divided by negative 2, which gives us a negative 1. So the axis of symmetry is the vertical line x equals negative 1. Number 2, to find the vertex, we know the x-coordinate of the vertex is negative 1 because the vertex is always on the line of symmetry. So to get the y, we find what is f of negative 1. Substituting this back into the original function, we have a negative negative 1 squared minus 2 times negative 1 plus 8. Negative 1 squared is positive 1 times a negative is negative 1. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. And then we have plus 8. This gives us 9. So the vertex is negative 1, 9. Number 3, to find the y-intercept, we let x be 0 and we solve for y. So we need to evaluate what is h of 0. 0 squared times a negative is 0. Minus 2 times 0 is 0 plus 8, which gives us 8. It turns out that the y-intercept will always be the value of c. Our y-intercept is 0, 8. Number 4, to find the x-intercepts, we let y be 0 and then we solve for x. So we have a trinomial here. We will try to factor this. The first thing I'm going to do is factor out a negative 1 from each term, and that will change the sign of this term. So this is negative, now it's positive. This is negative, now it's positive. This is positive, now it's negative. Next, divide both sides by negative 1. So we have 0 equals x squared minus 2x minus 8. C is a negative 8. B is a positive 2. So we want to know what two numbers multiply to give us negative 8, and at the same time add up to give us a value of positive 2. So since C is negative, one factor will be positive and one will be negative. So it turns out that 4 times negative 2 gives me a negative 8, and 4 plus negative 2 gives me a positive 2. Using the zero factor property, I take each binomial and set it equal to 0, and then I solve. I'm going to add 2 to both sides here. I'm going to subtract 4 to both sides here, and we have the answers x is 2 and x is negative 4. So for this quadratic function, there are two x-intercepts, 2, 0 and negative 4, 0. Number 5, to sketch this function, I plot the vertex, the y-intercept, and both x-intercepts. And then finally, the axis of symmetry. Thanks for watching.